Cue music. And hello, everyone. I'm Dan Lutz, and I'm here with my co-host,
DANK.
and we're here on the front lines in the battle against the deep state, the cabal, the Illuminonkeys, and all those that wish to enslave all of humanity for their own selfish reasons. How's it going, Tank?
Well, it's going pretty well. I reached out to Kim early this morning, and I asked Kim if she, if what I could expect on the ground level today, being that today's the deadline here, and for the 6 months that she talked about. And it appears, so her response to me was that she had a meeting that she was going into and that she'd let me know. These meetings, I'm speculating here, but I know that she's been in these meetings before, and they're pretty lengthy. If they're trying to work out details or something, and being that, it would appear that on some level, they're not aware of the consequences of what's about to happen. But if I remember correctly, I believe she said that, galactic trade was going to open up for everyone at the end of the 6 months. And that was the agreement. And I would say that, basically Kim has done all she could within her power, which is extensive, to eliminate the other side being able to access funds, being able to manipulate funds, being able to really to function on some level. And the combination of factors that we're seeing right now with all types of, we did an overlay of the maps last night to show, on the Speak project, the same ones that you and I talked about already, that where they're doing the drug busts, like meth labs for that cartel, and then how much they align with where they know there's coronavirus, and how much those also align with our own research and experience with major spots for human trafficking. So I would say that those things are probably not, purely coincidence. I'm still suspicious that, there was talk about them locking down New York City as well as Long Island and putting in quarantine. And Kim told me that on Thursday those plans changed. Thank goodness. And I think that actually that might have been the good guys, that were trying to plan, how do we lock things down if galactic trade is about to begin, and also, keeping in mind that you probably have military moving on the highways, things of that nature, right? So you lock down everybody in there. So states are being encouraged to self-quarantine, right? As well as, so maybe this is a 2-week thing, but, Thomas did say that next week this would resolve. It looks like the coronavirus is already leveling out. Even though they're not really, doesn't seem to be that way in the mainstream media, but it does appear to be the actual report. And then I think all those things combined with, what you just told me. Troops.
Well, I'll go over that. So I was saying before we came on the air is that it looks like we're definitely in a military op. Did anyone notice that there was 30,000 troops, U.S. troops that arrived in Europe, right, without masks, right? So they're not worried about the virus, and why are they there? I mean, listen, we're currently locked down Europe, right? At the same time, we're not allowing them to fly into the United States, and we're sending troops there. And then we have, by the way, just recent reports of like hours ago that there's an attack on U.S. troops in Iraq, right? There's some injuries. So if we're in a military operation, any military movements of 30,000 troops means something, right? It's like, oh, let's just, have a vacation, right? So they may have been deployed to go after worldwide, black ops sites. And that's kind of a reaction, someone firing at other American troops in Iraq, right? Now we have no idea if this is what's going on, but I'm just looking at just different events and saying, if we're in a military op, what is going down?
Yeah. Well, I have to believe, if you remember, there was originally 5 portals, right, from the 5 original tribes that they were each responsible for, I believe. But I think I had this correct, right? And of those 5 portals, you have, they were shut down a long time ago, and you had these 3 portals from the draconian, reptilian, whatever group, right? And they were basically just giving away everything on the planet. And the goal was to open these 3 dark portals, right, which have been closed down, because the planet itself has been in quarantine, really, for a long time, right? So you have these 3 dark portals, which, connected to, I think, the draconians, maybe the mantis and reptilian, something like that, or the Anunnaki, I don't know, something like that. And that they were going to be, I don't know if they were going to be woken up, but I know that there was a report about the Draconian Queen, and the Draconian Queen wanting peace, and she actually gave instructions that the plan to destroy humanity was over, right? And the king of the Anunnaki, Draconian Queen, the Anunnaki, Anu, is gone, right? So he's no longer the king, like he was like the king of the galaxy or something. And then now you have the Draconian Queen, who basically has wanted peace. So I know that she issued a warning to them, and they obviously ignored the warning
So,
from the
so,
Draconian Queen.
so, the Draconian Queen, right, basically is superior to the Anunnaki.
I think the Draconian Queen is Anunnaki. You know, I don't really know exactly how that goes. You know, I don't know how that works. You know, I know like Anu had an affair with like a Draconian. And, you know, I think he was the Draco King, but I don't know if that's the same Draconian or the true Draconians, or how that works. You know, I just don't know enough about it, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
You know, I can speculate, but you know, I've heard Kim talk about it. I know that this came up, right? If you remember the warning that we issued, we put on the cover of the Speak Project for a while there. If you remember the language, the way that goes, you know, there was basically they were given the guardianship of the planet and the people. Now, my personal belief is that, you know, the power of manifestation really lies, you know, in our ability to unite our heart and mind, right? So, the ability to create. So I think that is in alignment with kind of being in here on this planet, anyways, with us being, you know, acting in the best interest of the people, the planet, and in alignment with source, right? And I think that they were not acting in the best interest of the people or the planet, and certainly not in alignment with source. So, you know, they've never had that ability. And so I think that that's part of it. At least that's my vibe on it. You know, that's just my opinion. But so I think that because there's this lack of alignment on their part, that you know, you have the planet. I mean, you actually have the science behind this. The Schumann resonance has been raising, right? So basically, the whole planet is vibrating at a higher frequency. So it makes me think that, you know, the planet itself is actually rising, and people. And I think that, you know, the people themselves will be waking up in mass in a way that we haven't seen before. That's actually what I think is going to happen. Yeah. And I think that the Draconian, or those who are not in alignment with that, they're trying to preserve the old way, just won't be able to survive at that frequency.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. So with the trade opening up, so are we expecting, you know, like you know, cargo ships coming through these portals, carrying all sorts of new kinds of blenders, or what do you think we're going to be trading here? Yeah,
I think blenders are the main trade. Yeah, that's what I hear. The galactic blender. It's going to be like infomercials with the Juice Man Juicer. You know.
Yeah. So
the Juice Man Juicer. It'd be like that with galactics. It'd just be
or the
normal. They won't even like prepare people. It'll just be like also there's commercials.
Yeah, intergalactic roach coaches. You know, with you know, burritos, galactic burritos on them, and you know. You know, I'm just wondering, you know, what does this end up looking like? You know, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking like Men in Black, you know, the movies, you know, with
me too. I like the things that are like precious here, right? There are like, you know, the things that aren't even precious here are like super valuable there, things like that. No, I know that you know, we're one of the few planets that have living water, and I know that there is trade agreements that were put in place, you know, with some planets to take some of that water, which, you know, from what I understand, it's fine. Like, you know, we have plenty of it, I guess. And, but I don't know, you know, I'm sure there's elements that they bring. I know that we have elements here on this Earth. I know that the Earth itself is very bountiful, right? It's got tons and tons of resources. Yeah. So, you know, it could be that, you know, the resources for the planet itself, like, you know, certain other planets need just to survive. And I also believe that this would probably open the gates to allow certain galactics to go home. And I know that there's a lot of seeds that are being taken from one of the groups of galactics that, you know, that's kind of their thing, that they can just make things grow. And their planet has basically been turned into dust. So they're taking a lot of seeds back to reseed their planet. So I mean, my knowledge of this stuff is very limited.
So
I absorb everything I can, but
here's one seed right here. Well, this is a cacao. They might want to bring some of these. Yeah.
Maybe the cacao is the big one.
Yeah. Well, actually, there's small seeds inside, but it's a big seed pod. But yeah, I can. That's interesting. Yeah, I can see that. I wonder what they will be bringing. Can we send the cabal back through there? Send them out. Put them on an island outside of this planet.
You'd have to believe that some type of isolation, right, would happen. And you can also look at this coronavirus and, really what would appear almost that Trump has imposed, right, in what's, the world leaders seem to kind of be embracing almost against their will is like, let's stop messing around this and let's come together on it. And I really think that whole conversation is just a shrouded conversation about, we're talking about a, whatever the downside is, right? Like you wouldn't want groups coming here and we're in a state of chaos and we have no order, we have no organization, we have no right to guard the planet because we've allowed these, knucklehead leaders, so-called leaders of the order to maintain some kind of position. And I think, I know Kim has had this conversation before, is that she said, look, because the way I don't know, some galactic council or some group there looked at us was like, you guys can't even make peace with yourselves, right?
Yeah.
How can you get peace with the rest of the galaxy, right? And what Kim said is like, that's not true. The problem is that you've got, this is the after effects because, now that the Draconians are gone, now you've got all of their minions that are left behind who think that they're gods. And because they gave them unlimited power to do whatever the hell they wanted, now you've got all of the after effects of how they've fractured all of humanity in their minds, their souls, our brains have been divided, everything about us has been divided, right? So, we're divided by race, by religion, by politics, by, culture. I mean, everything has divided us, and that's as a result of, a perpetual lie machine of the, of a 16,000-year psyops perpetuated by Marduk and company, right? So when you have something like that is basically taking hold of all of us, right? And we're all victims to that in some sense, right? And even if we are awake, I don't know how many of us are, consciously activating the, quantum elements of our soul to really remember all that we are. Certainly not all that we are, but I would say not even really a fraction of what we are. Because even those who are, consciously trying to do that, it's still a process. So, so I actually expect that, we're going to start to see enhanced abilities and enhanced understandings of who we are. That's kind of what I expect to happen. I think that, Kim's efforts have secured a place for us that we have the right. In December, you remember the Universal Council there came out and basically said, like, you've won your right to be free, right?
Right.
And apparently, even getting the memo, the order, I don't know if they just forgot that they're not as important as they think, or if they think they've just been holding out in the waiting room, like that original warning said, right, back in 2010.
Well,
they basically said,
well, if you think about their mindset, right, it's war. Their mindset is all about war. For them,
right.
This is just another battle, right? And they're planning, right? Here's our plan, right? It's so great, right? And they just keep going at it, the same plan. No matter what, however it falls apart piece by piece as they do it, they still keep executing their same plan. They don't know anything other than that, right? Is to do their military op, while there's a counter op going on against them.
Well, it's they existed in a compartment, and in that compartment, many of them thought that they were gods, right? And that they had the highest level of intel. But they had a piece of the plan, right? And then another group would have a part of their plan enough to overlap and know it was the same plan. But then they had another part of the plan. They thought they were above them, right? So everybody thought they were above each other. They all thought they were the boss. That's why you have, there was 5 factions Thomas talked about, right? And he's +1, right? Meaning, Kim. Right. So really, you have this is what's constantly been taking place, right? So the 5 factions, I would assume, were they replaced the 5 tribes, so to speak, right? So
that makes sense.
There has to be a restoration of, and that is Kim's plan, is the restoration plan, right? So their plan was the reset plan to basically demolish everyone, the Iron Mountain agenda, and now you have the restoration plan. I think the reason why they're trying to, keep people limited and not really going out as much and keep people at home is because there's going to be things that, everyone's going to be, there's going to be energy and beings that are going to be here in mass in a way that's never been before. And I think it's going to be a lot for the collective consciousness of the people to absorb. And probably for their own safety, for everyone's own safety, who's not necessarily prepared for that. But I have no idea what that would look like. I could be totally wrong about that. I'm just speculating.
I was just envisioning these sports stadiums where no one is going anymore, right? Great landing zones for the cargo ships.
I mean, I think that's very plausible.
Yeah.
I mean, there could be, it could be just a thought that, Kim is putting things in place right now to ensure that the entire collective energy of the people doesn't fracture and lose their mind, right? So, it's like, if you're going to come in here to trade, then you got to come in with cloaking devices. You got to be invisible to the people. I mean, just thinking of the potential issues that could happen, right? Because, you're going to have one brainwashed group who's going to say it's the end of days, right? When they see it happen, and other people, and pretty much everyone is going to be, uncomfortable because they haven't informed the people of anything, right? Nobody knows what's real unless, no government officials acknowledge the existence of galactics or anything, right? Like, not really, not that they work with them, not that they're part of the government, nothing like that.
Right.
But maybe then again, maybe just a wave of energy and light that rushes over the planet, and everybody just comes out tomorrow, and we all sing "Ding Dong, the Cabal is dead," and it's magic.
Maybe, yeah. Well, I do think that there's going to be some magic going on, but I think that what we're going to be seeing is these arrests, right? And I think that the people that are disappearing all of a sudden have the coronavirus, right? And they're off scene, right? Now they're out for 14 days, self-quarantine, all these leaders around the world, but really they were picked up, and so and it's worldwide. It's not just the United States. Again, 30,000 troops arrived in Europe.
Well, so how do you think they deal with it? I mean, do you think it's going to be something where they put clones in place and let them play a part, and now they're totally different people?
No.
People just die off from the coronavirus.
No, I think that so nobody panics, right? The excuse is, self-quarantine or died, right? But in the reality is they're going to trial. They're being picked up, put into jail, and Guantanamo Bay is in full swing. But by the time this 6 weeks passes, this has all occurred. Everybody's been indoors, not going to the malls, not going anywhere, it's just staying home. And then it gets revealed. Okay, well, the coronavirus, this was a hoax. But we used it to our advantage, and here's all the people, and this is what they did. So have a seat, because it's going to be a long weekend that we roll this out and tell you everything that's been going down. Yes, the people that didn't believe this, all this stuff. All right, all the alternative media has been prepping everyone, so at least 80% of the people know what's going on. But they might not have believed it, but now they know. So then we're awake, right? At that point, everybody awake is awoken at the same time. Well, at least to the full standing up and out of bed. They might be groggy and still needing some coffee or tea, but they're gonna be awake enough to say, okay, well, what do we do? How do we take care of this? And then the trials proceed, and everyone starts seeing what infrastructure has been put in place, what they've been doing, what is happening with vaccines and CPS and, you know, whatever else.
You know, I do think one thing that's been a little bit overlooked is, you know, if you declare a state of emergency, you're basically declaring martial law just by proxy. You know, because it gives the commander-in-chief basically the same power to utilize the military.
Yeah.
You know, as
the
rescue and recovery unit or whatever.
Yeah, you know, all of these states like California and New York preparing to declare emergencies, right? They did, right? They declared emergencies. Well, what does that allow the governor to do? Over their National Guard, they basically can mobilize them and have them do things because they have a state of emergency.
Right.
What happens when Trump does it, which he did hours after the WHO declared it's a worldwide pandemic with a factor of 4 or 3 or 4, what was it, 3.4, you know, death rate and all this kind of stuff, you know, which is completely ridiculous. But you know, Trump going in and saying it's a national emergency allows him control over all of those National Guard.
Right, he trumped them.
He
like
trumped
literally.
them. Literally trumped them.
Pretty amazing.
I think the coronavirus is the big trump card.
Yeah. So, you know, I think they saw the coronavirus coming, that would be their last attempt, and they just foiled again. You know?
They co-opted it, right? They used, you know, Taekwondo, right? Use your power of your enemy's blow against them, right? Use that energy and carry it through, and move it against them, and that's what's happening. Because all that they had built up and all they were planning on doing, and it's basically all backfiring on them.
Yep. So you know, so that's kind of fascinating. So I mean, like it's incredible. So I'm not surprised Kim didn't get back to me before we went live, because I'm sure, you know, it's not necessarily something that she just wants me to blurt out. I'm sure it'll take a little more prep than that. But I feel like we're, you know, it actually, I've never been a big proponent for like a big event of any kind, but this does feel that way to me, you know.
Yeah. It was a interesting, you know, going. You know, I had a call from my ex-wife today because, you know, she's talking to my daughter, and she's saying, you know, I know you've been saying all these things, right? And I know you told them to get toilet paper. Now they don't have any toilet paper. So, you know, so you know, on one hand, you know, you know, there's an element of vindication here, right? Because I've been paying these things for quite a while, and say, hey, you know, this stuff is all happening, it's all coming down. But you know, because it's, I kind of said, you know, she said, well, you've been saying this, so you know, for so long, right? That this is these things, but there was never, you know, anything that was that they could grab at, right? But now, when it actually happens, then there is a an element like, oh, what do we do now, right?
Right.
What do we do now? I said, well, now it's too late. You can't get any toilet paper.
See now.
I said, good thing. You know, our daughter knows how to use a tumbler.
Good thing they got.
Yeah. Being in there. So now I did pick up on in our group WWG1 WGA Telegram group that there is a they were talking about how 5G was to be used to implant the idea of going out and getting toilet paper, right? And apparently only 15% of the people responded. Well,
I thought it was 37%. Huh?
Oh, well, you know. Well, what they were saying was 15%. So maybe it's 37%, okay. But I thought that was kind of interesting. It's like, okay, if they failed again, they didn't get 100%. Your MK Ultra techniques are not quite working as intended.
No, they're obviously in a position where they're scrambling to figure out what's what, who's who, and what matters.
Well, the one thing I said also is I said, don't worry, we've already won, but we have to go through this, right? And there'll be some shortages, but we've already won this. It's just that we're gonna be without toilet paper for a little while, some other things, and I hope my daughter went out and did find some dried goods, along with other things, dried goods, canned goods, just in case for 2 weeks, 2 months, where it gets a bit bumpy.
I did hear about a new kind of test for the coronavirus. I guess it's only available here in New York right now. But basically, you don't have to leave your house or anything. You just send a sample of your feces directly to Andrew Cuomo, at the office there in Albany. So that's nice. So they are definitely thinking ahead, right?
Okay, a sample of your feces to the governor's office.
Yeah.
Is that by mail, or how do you exactly send it?
Well, yeah, you want an official. I mean, you probably send it certified mail too. So.
Certified, yeah, okay. That's a remarkable testing percent. I did hear about the drive-through testing that they announced that they're all underway, right? And they're getting all the main companies in line to help, Walgreens and Costco and whoever else. They're all lined up to do this, and Google's making a website. I didn't know. I didn't know
even Hannity was praising Google and all. I'm like, wow, like we're really stretching out here, huh?
Well, I thought that
wonderful.
I think it was funny that it said, and it's not going to cost much like other websites. Meaning the Obama healthcare website, which would never work.
Oh yeah, the $9 billion website, whatever it is.
Yeah, it never worked.
It still didn't work.
Yeah.
It was made on Wix.
Yeah. Oh, was it made on Wix?
No.
It might have worked if it was made on Wix.
Yeah, if it was made on Wix, it definitely worked.
Yeah. That would have been funny. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't know, that first joke with the new testing, send feces to the governor's office.
Yeah. Well, hey, you gotta keep it light.
No, you want to drop a load at that time. Big samples.
Oh,
big samples.
So, yeah, long story short, I really have no idea what's going on in the world at all today. Otherwise, I had a meeting with Detroit Create Change today, and was answering some of their questions. Got some new suggestions and banking stuff, and so we'll see how that plays out. But I really, my vibe is, man, it just feels like there's a big breakthrough right now. That's what I feel like.
Yeah.
That's just feels like something's going on.
Yeah, I think it's all because I left this background up for the entire broadcast.
Yeah,
the rainbow,
the crazy rainbow. Yeah.
It
sends a message. Sends a message.
Yeah, actually, I did this specifically to outline a new path forward. That's the representation.
I like it.
A new path.
I like
forward.
it. New path forward. I was telling one of my friends today that we don't need to follow anybody's path. We're bridge makers. So when you're a bridge maker, what you do is you set your sight on where you want to go, and then you create your own path. You create your own bridge, and you use the rocks that they throw at us to make bridges, right?
Yeah. Thanks. And, there's another brick. Thanks.
Yeah, you just.
Hey, that's team effort.
All right. So it's kind of an Alan Watts mentality, right? Oh, just create your own way.
And I think that's what we have to do. And I think that's the opportunity that we have. And I'm at peace with it, I guess, more than, in the past where I've been anxious because I have no idea what to expect right now. I'm speculating is just more fun speculation. I'm open to the idea of, galactics, interacting and, coming to be part of our life. I think that'd be cool. But I don't think that's in the immediate future for us. But I mean, maybe not for the population, but I hope it's in my future. I hope anyways. I would love to be able to, hang out, have the advantages of galactic intel, and kind of learn how to access the. Kim talked about how every single quantum particle holds the entire Akashic records, right?
Right.
And that's always amazing to me, right? It means that everything we need is held right within us. All the information we need, all the history, all the reality of what we truly are and what the entire universe is right here within us. And, I spent a lot of time trying to access that, but can't say that I've been really successful, but, I figure it's a process.
Yeah. Well, water holds memory.
Yeah, it's programmable, right?
And it also can transmit information. So, we're 96% water, something like that. So we're all just filled with memories and potential to actually act and move energy around. So that's what we're doing. We're creating this new path forward, and we've done quite a lot. It's just been a year. That's all.
Yeah, I think in a year we've helped, right? We've played our part. Certainly haven't been sitting around waiting for things to change for us.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about this. There's something to be said about this. I love this guy, Alan Watts. Old school from I don't know what he's from, but it sounds like he's from the 40s or 30s or something. And he talks about letting go. Right? Now, every time you take a breath, as you hold your breath, you can hold on to a bug for so long, but at some point you have to let it go to get the real value of it, right? And when you let it go, you are really acknowledging, and accepting that you will get it back, right? And then in so doing, in letting it go, you actually provide the necessary substance for another being to survive and to thrive, and then in turn it provides the same service to you. And that's kind of the interconnectivity of our relationship, the symbiotic relationship we have with everything on the planet. So, but his point was just to, sometimes we hold on to something so dearly and trying to possess it and trying to gain power from it, when in reality, if we really want to be, we actually become more powerful and letting go. So I'm trying to embrace that and integrate it into my life process. How does that exactly manifest in my own life? So, I'd like to start at home before I start giving advice.
So. Practice makes perfect. So just keep at it. Make our steps towards where we think we're going to head up. We're not always going to end up where we exactly think we are, but we'll arrive at the right place.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Like a sailboat, just using the earth. That's part of the reason why I'm looking at this alignment. I keep thinking about this. We so often try to control things, when in reality we should just try to align with them, right? And if we would just put ourselves in alignment, and then trust the universe and trust ourselves, right? And by giving our trust to the universe, we in turn really are trusting ourselves, right? So, we trust many things that are crucial to our very existence, right? We trust the sun will be up tomorrow. We trust our heart will continue to beat and our lungs will continue to breathe. We trust that when we open our eyes, we'll still see. And none of those things we have any control over, right? And so the minute portion of our life that we actually have control over, we try to put a stranglehold on. Meanwhile, the most crucial parts that are providing life for us, we have no control over whatsoever, and we trust them. Thus, reinforcing what I've been saying for a while, is that trust is a essential part of the human experience. By trying to take away our ability to trust each other and ultimately trust ourselves, it takes away from our acceptance and willingness to trust the universe, and just kind of prolongs an inevitable creative process. But I think we become much more powerful as creative beings as we embrace that as one of the necessary attributes to thrive, right? Just to trust yourself, trust your intuition, and
Yeah.
take a leap of faith.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of people with trust, they lose faith in other people or whatever because they've been wronged by things they trusted, right? But if you don't trust, then you don't have the potential to actually have, the positive happen towards you. You shut yourself off. So, just come into trust. Not to say that you don't have to have open eyes about the situation we get into, but you have to have some trust and allow people to prove themselves. But the trust is gained over time.
No,
And it also it's I mean
agree.
it's not it doesn't mean that you have 100% trust in everything all the time, but you allow trust to grow. If you don't allow it to grow, then again, it's like the system one. You have to have hope.
Yeah,
You have to have
that's
trust.
a good point. If you don't have trust, you really are robbing yourself from, the essential parts of being human. I think. It's like, you need to be able to trust just to really appreciate the full experience on this planet. I mean, it's we're not just, we're dependent on each other. We're dependent on the elements. We're dependent on these things. Like, you don't even live if someone doesn't take care of you when you're a baby, right? I mean, you're here because, you, as an energetic being, trusted your life to to this person to be, let you live, So,
Well,
man,
I trust that tomorrow we'll have more news. What happened with
I
the
trust
portal.
that as well, man. And that's all I really got tonight, man. So
It's good.
we can wrap it up if it's okay with you.
That's okay. Yeah, that's fine. Where are we? We're at 43 minutes in, so no problem.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Thank you, Dan, for doing all you do. Everybody out there in the land of Oz, you have a great night. Talk to you tomorrow.
You too, Tank. Have a wonderful evening, and good night to everyone, or good morning, whatever the case may be. And we will be back tomorrow, and we'll see if the portals have opened and the intergalactic trade has commenced. Bye for now.